All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to learn more about our project. My name is Claire, and this year I worked as the product manager on the Change++ team working with Tikkun Olam Makers, or TOM for short. So first, I just want to introduce our team who worked on this project all year. Owen was our lead developer. David and Alina both worked as developers, and then Asher was our designer, and you will see his designs in this presentation. So a little bit about our stakeholder and the goal of our project to start off. So TOM is an organization that creates solutions to challenges that people living with disabilities or the elderly may face. So there are TOM communities around the world that host makeathons where teams of engineers participate to build solutions to these challenges that people may face. There's actually a TOM community at Vanderbilt, and normally they host a yearly makeathon, and they're the ones who came to Change++ with an idea for an app. So here you can just see some examples of products that are currently on TOM's website. And these are products that have gone through the stages of ideation, creation, and these are the final documented products. And a big part of creating these solutions, as you can probably imagine, is documenting how to build them, because the goal of TOM is really to make these solutions as accessible and affordable as possible. So it's really, really important that the process of creating them is well documented so that others can build them too. In the past, documentation has been a slight issue because teams don't really keep up with it throughout the makeathon. So the documentation ended up being incomplete or unorganized. For example, teams would write down notes on scrap pieces of paper, draw out diagrams in notebooks, and take pictures on their phones. And then at the end, having to transfer all of that information to your own computer and then upload it to TOM was a multi-step process. And as you can probably imagine, it's really easy to lose information or become disorganized in that process. So here's just kind of the central question of our app. How can we improve the process of documentation during these makeathon events? And here you can see just a finalized documentation of a solution on the TOM website. So the goal is to create a streamlined process so that one member of each makeathon team can easily document their solution throughout the makeathon. So some of the main features of our app are the ability to log in or sign up, search and view existing TOM projects, and then most importantly, create a new project and upload documentation. So a quick demo of some of our pages. On the right here, you can see the login page. If you're a pre-existing user, you can just enter your username and password. And then here on the left, this is if you are a new user signing up for the app. So you just enter your identifying information, first name, last name, and email. Then you just create a password and confirm that password. And then here you choose your community, because like I said, there are TOM communities all around the world. So you want to be identified with the community that you are working with. And since there are so many communities, we also included the ability to search for a specific community in that list. And then when you log in, you're taken to that home search page right away. So next we have sort of the user homepage. Here is where you'll display some of the user's information, like the first and last name, as well as their associated community. And then under recent projects right here is where their project that they are currently working on, the documentation will be shown. Then we have the search functionality and the ability to view these projects that are on the TOM website. So here you have all of the projects currently on the TOM website. You can search through them by name in this search bar. And then if you click on an individual project, it will take you to this individual project page over here, which is where you can view a lot of the information like the name, the description, the challenge description, and some of the images associated with that project. And then of course, the ability to create a new project. I have this short video here. So as you can see right here, this is the main project creation page. You have the ability to take a picture with this upload image button, and there you can also upload images that are already in your camera roll as well as save images to your camera roll. Then we have the ability to edit information like the project name, description, and challenge description and need knower description, which is the person that you are creating this solution for. And then you can add tools and materials and individual steps that you're taking to build the project. So this is just a quick demo of editing some of that information. Here you have the camera. And you can just type right in these boxes to edit all of this information. And then let me get back to this main page. So here you can see the ability to add individual steps, and that's what you see over here on the right in this screenshot, is the ability to edit those individual steps. So you can also associate images with individual steps, as well as provide a name for that step and a description of what you're actually doing in that step. All right, so now we have a short description of some of the technology that we used for this project. So React Native is what we use to build the front end, and it enables you to build an app that works for both iOS and Android. React Native is basically a framework that enables web developers to create mobile applications using JavaScript, and it enables code sharing across iOS and Android, like I said. Then for the backend, we used Firebase, which is a platform that was developed by Google, also for creating mobile and web applications. And basically it allows secure access to the database directly from the client-side code. So it allows us to store information like user login data, projects specific to that user, and information like that. Then finally, we have Redux, which is an open source JavaScript library for managing the state of an application. So basically for managing the current condition or information held in the app. It allows you to change the state of the app, and essentially it's a cycle. So to change the state, you dispatch an action, and then a reducer processes that change and stores the update, kind of as you can see in this cycle over here. So to put it simply, it's just a way of changing the state of the app. And this is how we were able to create the login and sign up process and change from that authentication screen, actually logging in or signing up, to that home page, sort of main navigation aspect of the app. Okay, so now we have design, and I will let David talk about the design of our app a little bit.
Awesome, thank you, Claire. So to briefly explain the process of the design of the app that we went through, we first of all got the list of features that Tom wanted from us, and our team met over the Zoom for a few times to create the basic outlines for each page through brainstorming and wireframing times. So as you can see on the page right here, we have very basic level of login and sign up home pages. Go to the next slide. We also have the users projects page that has different kind of projects depending on the recent project that were released or the community projects. We also have a project search page that the user can search through keywords or materials or based on communities. Also, we brainstormed the project documentation page itself, where different aspects, components that we are going to put in for the user to put in the information of, so that we can summarize the documentation neatly. So Asher took those brainstormed ideas and dashboard and created the version 1 of design. The left side is the projects page, and the right side is the individual project page. If you click one of the buttons on the left page, you go into the right page, and that gives more details on the project. And This is the project individual documentation project page design that we first had, where user can put in different information. Then we took that first design and went to Tom Global, and we gathered feedback from them, and we actually had to make quite a lot of changes. And Asher made the second version of the design that resulted in more solid and user-friendly design. As you can see right here, the project page and the search page are more user-friendly and more clean looking. And also the individual project page and the documentation project page looks more user-friendly. So we were very grateful for the outcome of the design in the end.
Thanks, David. And yeah, Asher did a great job with our design. So big shout out to him. It ended up looking awesome. So a little bit about kind of how our team worked throughout this process and the development of our app. So we used Jira, which is just a software to kind of manage timeline and project tasks throughout the development of this app. And this is just an example of what that looks like. So here on the left, you can see all of the tasks that we're currently assigned at this point. In the middle, you can see the tasks that are in progress and who they're assigned to on the bottom right of each task. And then on the right column, you can see the tasks from this sprint that have been completed already. So it's a really great way to manage what is still left to do, what's in progress, and what is fully completed. You also create sprints through this software. So a sprint is just a set of tasks that are going to be completed together, essentially. So we created multiple sprints over the course of our project. We had one sprint for our first design, for example. Then we had another sprint to update that design once Asher created our second version. And so it was just a really great way to manage all of the members of our team, make sure that we were working efficiently and working on different things at the same time. And then a couple of features just to go a little bit more into our app. So one cool thing about our app is actually the camera use. And we just used this Expo Media library, which is just an available library in React Native. And it allows us to request access to the user's camera roll to actually create an album in the user's camera roll, and then to access existing images or videos that are already in the user's camera roll with that access from within the app. And then lastly, you can actually save videos or images to their camera roll from the in-app camera. So this is just a really great piece of functionality that our app has to allow the users to really, take pictures and videos while they're creating their solutions and make sure that they have those documented right in the app and not have to, go to those extra steps to take them and then upload them separately and then compile it all together. And then secondly, we have the displaying projects ability on our main search page. And I think this is a cool feature because what we ended up doing was pulling data from some of the public endpoints accessible from the Tom website. So essentially each project that is listed on their website has its own public data endpoint based on just its project ID. So you can see an example of what this looks like down here. If you go to a specific URL based on the project ID, you can see all of this information about the specific project. And then from there, what we did was essentially wrote a function to make a call or access this endpoint, return all of this data that you see at the bottom as an object, and then separate it and display it appropriately. So we were able to actually pull out the elements that we wanted, such as project name, like you can see here, the city that the community is located in. And so we could pull out that information that we wanted and display it appropriately. And this is just an example of that actually in action. This is our main search page here. These are all the projects that we're pulling information from those endpoints. And then when you click on one of them, you can actually see the documentation on the Tom website as well. If you click that documentation button. And this is the search functionality. So you can actually search for projects by name here. We just filter them based on, it's like a control F as well. You just filter them based on the series of letters that the user is inputting into that search bar. And then finally, just a little bit about our experience as a team. David, if you have anything to add here, feel free to chime in. But I think that it was a really great experience for all of us to learn how to work in a virtual team environment. Just managing multiple team members working on the same project at once through tools such as GitHub and Zoom. It was difficult at times, but I think, using software like Jira made it a lot easier, and just having really solid communication between our team. So we also learned a bunch of new technologies. Personally, I had never used Firebase or Redux or even React Native before this project. So it was a great opportunity to learn a ton of new technologies and also to work with a really, really amazing organization. And then just looking forward, we're looking forward to completing the backend Firebase connection and handing off the project to Tom Vanderbilt within the upcoming weeks. So that's very exciting. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you to Tom Vanderbilt for bringing this project to us, and to Tom Global for their feedback and help throughout the process. And of course, thank you to our team members for working so hard on this project during such a crazy year in the virtual work environment. It was great to work with you all. Thank you, guys.
Woo!
Okay.
Killed it.